Amy, it's great to have you on the pod.
Thank you so much.
Good to finally have a woman on the pod. You're the first one. So
am I really?
Claim to fame.
Wow, what an honour. Thank you for having me, Tim.
It's look, I love your story. I'm obviously really keen to kind of get into it, and you know, anyone that's come over here, been able to build something and start something like you have. So Amy, you have the Meat Club as your business here, and yeah, it's just I love hearing the story of how it all begins, and then as you kind of grown and what you've had to learn about yourself as you've gone along. And ironically, you're another trailing spouse as well. I think this podcast is unassumingly turned into a trailing spouse podcast. So yeah.
the trailing spouse that then tries to pivot to something else.
We'll have to make it happen some way or another. So it teaches a lot of resilience, I think, well. So maybe you can start by just giving us a little bit of background on your life before you moved to Singapore.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I am from the Gold Coast originally, born and bred. Went to school there, did law at university at Griffith, and then made my way to Brisbane. I practiced there for several years as a commercial lawyer, but was very lucky actually, had the support of my partners to start a sports law division in the Brisbane firm that I worked at. Subsequently did the same thing in the firm I worked with in Sydney. And that was through the Australian Olympic Committee. My sister was an Olympian, so I was very fortunate to have those ties.
What does she compete in?
Triathlon. She actually won in 2008.
Amazing.
Yeah, Beijing. Very proud.
What's her name?
Emma Snowsell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then fast forward a couple of years in Sydney, my husband Josh, who was working at UBS at the time, he was very fortunate to meet the owners and founders of Guzman y Gomez in Australia. So together with a local business partner, they acquired the master franchise rights for GYG Asia. Okay. And we found ourselves packing up our life in Australia, saying farewell to Tamarama in Sydney, which, as you probably know, is a beautiful area, and making our way over here. That was 12 years ago. Yeah. So Josh started his first outlet. You might remember it, Asia Square.
Yes.
It's since closed. Yeah. I got a job originally with IMG, but then changed to a company that is no longer operating. It was called Repicom. Okay. And we were doing sports consulting. So again, I had enjoyed being a lawyer in Australia. I probably wasn't the best, if I'm honest. And I really enjoyed doing the sports law, but that wasn't really an industry here. No. So shifted to the consulting, and after a few years, we had been married, I fell pregnant, and then got made redundant around that time. Okay. Yeah.
So I guess there's a bit to unpack in that, right? So obviously you, Josh, and you have come over, you've essentially started a business here, right?
Yeah.
So Guzman started from the ground up with him. Yeah. And then so you've done that for a few years, and then you've also then decided at a certain point to then do it yourself as well. So you're a couple of, the entrepreneurship is just in the blood by the sounds of it.
I think we were both, I appreciate the comment. I think, when I was made redundant at least, I had seen the transition Josh had made from a corporate banking life to, a startup of sorts. Even though it was well established in Australia, it was very much grassroots when we came over. And I think just seeing his overall personality thrive and grow as a result of that transition, I was like, well, I'd actually really like that for myself. So I was happy.
I was going to ask, is that one of the reasons you kind of thought you could back yourself and do it as well?
Well, I was, I guess, rewinding back to my days in Sydney, I had started a condiment business, so selling condiments at a Bondi Farmers Market.
Okay, what were you selling? Like, what condiments exactly?
Pesto, tapenade, a hummus, and a tahini. Okay. Which I still have in my fridge to this day. I would love to put them under the Meat Club, but short shelf life is a bit hard. And that was a really good foray into just sales in general. I had to, stop people that were going about their morning and have a chat. Yes. Encourage them to try it. Push them to buy it. Nothing's changed. And and then when I was in Singapore as a consultant, I had come across a business called Cocoa Whip on the Gold Coast. So
Okay.
they were a business that kind of grew out of biscuit at Nobby's Beach, and it was a coconut-based soft serve, ironically, vegan. I was doing that as a side hustle, but ultimately closed that a few months into the meat club kind of taking off.
Yeah.
I just had a baby, Harriet. So there was a lot to...
First one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot to go on there. And I knew that something was going to give. So I closed one element of that business, sold the other, and then focused on being a mum and a business owner. But I think your question was, how if I backed myself. I think I was just very fortunate, possibly coming from a sporting background, that like you don't say no.
Yeah.
No matter what the setback is, you just get up the next day and continue to do it. And I think that's that level of grinding it out and just persevering. That I kind of, I in a way, I guess backing myself is the right terminology.
Yeah. I guess also, we talked before, you have come over as a trailing spouse as well, right? And I've talked, with a few other guests, and we kind of, when we come over, we just kind of have to figure it out along the way, right? Like we don't have a set, we're not coming over with a set job or a set career in mind. We're kind of just, okay, our partner has this great opportunity. Obviously we want to support them. We want them to, be able to, we want to make sure that they're successful, but then you also go, okay, well, how do I fit in to all this, especially when you're relatively young before you had the kids as well, right? So I think, to be able to come over, you've obviously put the support in the first few years, and then gone, okay, I think I can make something work out of this as well. I don't know, it's a good journey to go on. Right?
I'm super grateful for it. I'm so glad.
It's another point of resilience, I think. Like you talked about, it's just you have to kind of get up and hustle a bit, make it work.
I remember.
Don't get a choice.
I remember working at Repicom, and I was often the first person into the office, which, it was commonplace because I think Australians start early anyway.
I used to be in at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and everyone else would rock up around 10.
Yeah. I remember being at Repicom, and I would run down to the outlet in lunch, go and call all the order numbers at Asia Square, lose my voice, go back to the office, and everyone's like, where have you been? And then same at dinner, like walk back to the outlet, do the closing, clean up, have dinner at the outlet quite often, and then head home. It made for long days, but we had to make it work. Yeah.
I guess maybe we'll talk about the Meat Club first. And we'll kind of get into it a bit more. So for all of our listeners, do you want to kind of give the pitch for what it is?
Oh, thank you. Well, the Meat Club is an online store. We are very much focused on protein. So we've always called ourselves an online butcher. We are a little bit different from a traditional butcher in that we are not butchers. We're logistics and marketing. So all of our product comes direct from our suppliers in Australia and New Zealand. So just like you would pick up a bottle of wine from a cellar door, it's as if you're getting a steak from the source. So as much as we can say it's farm to plate. No one's handling it before it reaches your house. There's no unnecessary freezing and defrosting cycles.
Which is a big thing.
No one's opening it and cutting it. And I think as Australians, when you are going to the storefront, you can be rest assured that very few people have come into contact with that product. Here, there's obviously, there's air and sea freight to contend with. Let alone all the other touch points between warehouses and third-party logistics providers. So I think our real point of difference is making sure that we cut out the middlemen. So it will literally arrive here, go to our warehouse, and then straight to our customers. So it's purely B2C. We have a subscription offer, so you get basically a delivery on a cadence that suits your needs, be it weekly or monthly. You get a whole lot of perks with that. Alternatively, if you don't want to opt in for it, you just buy with us on a one-off basis.
So the meat itself is literally coming from the suppliers or the farms?
Correct.
Directly,
so
which is huge.
Massive. Like, for example, our beef supplier is a family-owned and operated, family owned and operated business in Queensland.
Yeah, okay.
They own the land, the cattle,
Yeah.
the feedlot if the cattle do go into a feedlot, the processing facility, the transport links. And we're very proud of those relationships because they're relationships we've held now for over 10 years. Having gone to the facilities myself and seen them, I think, you can stand here and be very proud of the product that we offer.
Which, every Australian loves fresh meat, a good barbecue.
Well,
this is like the only way to be able to have that in Singapore
exactly.
in the same way.
Yeah,
so,
well, I mean, I think like many people, I was just bringing it in my suitcase. And
I was going to ask, what's the origin story of like, how did you come up with the idea for the business?
That's how long have you got? No.
All the time that you need.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it kind of coincided with that, with the change in our lives of me becoming pregnant. Like I said, we were bringing it in our suitcase, and you don't get any quality checks at Changi Airport, which is fantastic. So you can put, as many pieces of eye fillet or lamb or chicken that you want.
Yes.
But very quickly when I was pregnant, I was craving a lot more red meat. At that time, we couldn't afford the high-end supermarket or butcher's cost.
It is expensive here.
It's so expensive.
Yeah.
And we were out grocery shopping together, and I mentioned to my husband, Josh, can you please go and get me a piece of steak? I am just having a really hard time here.
Yeah.
It was either past our budget, or was it a quality that you wouldn't give a four-legged animal? And there was no in between. Anyway, we were at a local supermarket and in the butcher aisle. And I said to Josh, you go and pick out a piece of steak. I'll go and do the rest of the shop. And I almost went to go and pay, forgetting he was with me.
Yeah.
Came back to find him. And he very quickly had realised that the landed cost of flank steak for GYG, which was coming from Australia, was roughly $11 a kilo, and what was being sold in the supermarkets was around $44.
Wow.
It's
That's
big.
huge.
It's huge.
Yeah,
and we very quickly did some market research, tried to understand if there was any, import costs associated with it, taxes, and thereafter just decided that we needed to create a solution, which was only ever going to be online.
Yeah.
We had already dealt with leases and workforce issues.
Plenty of articles about landlords and leases at the moment. For businesses in Singapore.
There is a high turnover,
and a high cost.
So it had to be online, and it also had to be subscription, because not only do you get forward ordering, but we could also forecast our order volumes from our suppliers. So there was less wastage, and we were only placing orders for product that we knew we were going to sell.
Yeah, okay. Which is good. Was there, I guess, what was the moment for you when you had the idea, you're like, okay, I want to set this up, but then you go, okay, this is actually going to turn into some kind of feasible long-term business. Was there a bit of a tipping point where it turned from a little project to something that you're like, okay, I've actually got to
hustle?
and grow this and scale it a bit more?
Yeah, I think as GYG was gearing up, I had the lion's share of the business. And I'd already communicated to Josh at the time that I wasn't super keen on going back into a corporate role.
Yeah.
I was really loving what I was doing.
Yeah.
I felt like it kind of married my skill set, which I'd, more or less grown over the couple of years that I'd started some other little side hustles.
Yep.
And it was a tipping point for me where I realized, well, if this is the dream I have, to do something for myself, now is the time.
Yes.
It's now or never.
Yeah.
Because if I prove myself wrong, then it's going to be a 9 to 5 back into an office environment.
Yes, which after you've had the taste of a little bit of success for yourself, it just feels impossible to go back. Yeah.
Totally. And I think it's a double-edged sword, because obviously there's no such thing as turning off.
No.
But you have so much flexibility as well as to what you can and can't do.
Especially when you've got the young kids and stuff. It's, I don't know, it was the biggest adjustment for me was when I first started, it was just me in my room doing everything myself. And those first few years, right, it's just always there in your brain. You're never really fully present sometimes, because you're always just thinking about all these little things that you want to do.
Yeah.
If you go on a holiday with a trip, it's just there as well.
Yeah.
But I always, at least if the difference is when you put the work in, you get to see the results, I think. And there's so much more worthwhile and so much more self-fulfilling than anything you ever got out of, the banks were a great training place for me, and I enjoyed my time there, but I couldn't pay me enough to go back now, just because being able to put the work in and know that I get rewarded for it at the end and see the results for clients, and for you it would be like having all the customers tell you about this great product that they have and the great stories around parties and barbecues and stuff, right? It just means a lot more.
100%.
That fulfillment piece is a really big part of it.
Yeah.
So what would you say has been the most challenging part so far?
I think having a husband and wife both try and start and run a business around the same time was undoubtedly our hardest challenge as a couple, as parents, as business owners. I'm very proud of not just the challenges that we went through, but the fact that we could get through them and see the other side. Yep. There was probably at least 7 years there where it was not uncommon to have $30 at the end of the month. We were lucky to pay our rent. Yeah. I could never catch a grab. I was always arriving at a party with sweaty hair, exercise gear on, because I'd often had to walk or cycle with the girls. I also was never really around at home. So for the first 8 months, when Harriet was born, I had resisted getting a helper. And I think that was really an Australian stoic approach to help, being like, no, I can do this. Yes. But I think without that support network that you would otherwise have at home, something was going to give, and that was going to be me. So we have the wonderful benefit of a helper full-time with us. But in saying that, it also allowed us to work hours which were pretty insane in hindsight. We were never at home for, it's sad to say, but very often working through the long hours of the night, if not an all-nighter, more often than I'd like to say. And so I think I was never really around both for Harriet or Elizabeth. I think I went back when Elizabeth was about 3 weeks old. Probably making some very bad choices at that time, but it was what we had to do. I was doing a lot for GYG at the same time, so it was juggling both businesses. Yes. And Josh has always helped me on the Meat Club as well, so it's been very much a team effort. In saying that, I am so grateful that I put that time and effort in as young children, as babies, because I have so much more freedom with them now. I'm able to sit down with them at breakfast and dinner. Very often. And
they're old enough to appreciate it now.
They are, too, and they need me more. And I think as hard as it was and as much resentment as I had at the time, I'm actually so much more grateful for it. Because if I was doing that now, I think that would be way harder on them. For sure. And it is like timing is a really important aspect for some of this as well, right? Like it's the universe sometimes decides when you're going to have to do this. And like at the time, of course, you can say you worked insane hours and it was hard, but now it feels
you get to enjoy the payoff of that hard work now in a different way. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
And I think a lot of people, it's interesting that you talk about the struggle, right? Because a lot of people, especially if you've had the business for a while and they kind of see that you're doing well now.
And I think people think it's like an overnight success. They don't. Like, if only you knew. I think if either of us knew what we were up for, I'm not sure if we would have jumped on that flight, if I'm honest. It was, really, really hard at times.
But it's a story of perseverance, right? And it's, I can completely appreciate how difficult it is, because trust me, I understand all the stresses that go with it. And you've got the overlay of family, and you're both kind of doing it together as well. But the fact that you as a couple have also been able to do that together too, right? And survive. There's plenty that don't. And you're not only surviving, but you're thriving now as well. And you're still here. It's been 12 years, right?
12 years in Singapore, 10 years for the Meat Club in September.
Yeah, which is exciting.
Yeah, massive. We're very excited.
Gonna have a party?
We are actually.
Okay.
Yep. We're thinking of a couple of events. We're probably going to jump on the bandwagon of a run club.
Okay.
We're doing a tie-up with a local business yoga movement, Alicia and Peter Through, who are dear friends.
Yes.
So yeah, watch this space.
Yeah, okay. Exciting. 10 years is a big milestone.
It is.
You've got to celebrate it.
I feel like we have to. It's very easy just to pass it off and let it go by, but like all milestones in life, whether or not it's a birthday or not, like I feel like you have to pause and take a moment to appreciate it.
Especially as the business gets more mature and you actually have the space to do it, right? When you're not in the trenches every day having to make it all actually work. Yeah,
definitely.
Do you think also like having the kids, has your approach to business and the risk that you guys are willing to take, has that also changed as they've started to get older as well?
I am probably risk adverse. Josh is probably a risk taker.
Yep.
So in a way,
good balance sometimes.
It's a good balance. We have a new concept coming, so I think that kind of answers the question, because we are kind of putting all our eggs in the one basket again. Yes. So yeah, I think I don't actually see it as a risk. I see it as like a why not. It's an opportunity.
Yeah.
It's a challenge. It's going to be really exciting, we hope. And so, yeah, probably not, if I'm honest. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
Maybe you can frame it as you've obviously learnt a lot from what you've done so far, and when you take the risks now, it can be a lot more calculated, or you can go in with a lot more eyes
I think we just
wide open, because there's so many things you just stumble into in those first few years that you just work out as you go along. So
not only that, but we just have learned so much. It's like, even with Cocoa Whip and the Bondi Farmers Market condiment business, each time, failure or not, it's like your own little MBA. And, you know, putting all those learnings into any other opportunity that we have now is like the only way forward.
Yes.
So I feel like I would hope that we won't make those same mistakes again. Yeah, won't go through those same challenges.
I think especially with GYG, because it's grown really quickly, right? If you from an outsider's perspective, it's also been like 10-12 years, right? But it's got multiple outlets.
Yeah, we're at about 23 now. And I guess it's from the outside,
which is like 2 a year basically, which is actually a lot. So
it is, but the time between Asia Square and Chevron House was like, I think that was 3 to 5 years. So that growth took a long time. Yeah. And I remember Josh being extremely frustrated by the pace, because he's like, I just want to get in and get out. But after they started, you know, second, third, fourth, the cadence definitely picked up.
Yes.
And they've got an amazing team now in the head office. So.
Getting the people together is the hardest part, honestly. Like, especially in a food business in Singapore.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
That's a whole nother podcast, by the way. But when you do find the right people, you
hold on to them, right?
Yeah. We've got a marketing manager, Adora, who I absolutely adore. She's taken over from a role that I was otherwise trying to handle, and has done, you know, not only 10 times more than what I ever could, but 10 times better. Yeah. I'm glad. Thank you. I've got a little bit more sleep.
I guess, some questions on, I guess, going back into mindset and kind of reframing challenges. So I think in another interview before, I did some pre-reading on you before,
Thank
Amy.
You.
So
that's very kind.
You've said before there's a blessing that comes with every curse. So where did that philosophy come from?
Oh, wow. I think that's with every challenge we've ever seen or dealt with. I feel like it's the same as like as one door closes, another door opens. You know, for example, we've had staff bid farewell, you know, in both sides of the business. And every time that happens, you're like, no, oh my God, please don't go. You know, what can I do to, you know, change your mind? And for one reason or another, as that person does go, not only do you have an opportunity to grow and understand something about what they were doing, but you very often find someone that could do it better. And, you know, I think that mindset is taken into everything for us now. It's like, okay, that's their decision. as an example.
Yes.
And
can help you sleep a bit better at night, having that mindset
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, and
exactly. Don't live in fear that someone's going to leave.
Yeah, exactly. And if they do, you know, you've got to
Yeah.
respect that decision as well.
Yeah.
And you might or might not be the right person. I think as well, like there is a lot.
Not everyone grows with the business at the same rate as
Correct.
well. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. I'd say there's many other examples, but that's the one that really comes to mind.
Yeah, okay. So you mentioned in another interview not taking no for an answer. So can you think of a time when that tenacity paid off for you?
Every day?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. What's a recent example? I think it comes into play in many ways for me. Very often if I'm having a call with someone, I will take the collaboration and partnership opportunity in front of us, not from my perspective saying this is what I want. I very often look at it, you know, what do you want and how can we work together to make it work for you?
Yeah.
Because you know, very often if we were to say, look, you know, here's a box and this is where you have to sit, they're like, oh, well, I've got a circle, this is not going to marry up.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always finding a way to make things work. And it's the same with the 10 years as an example. You know, we could have said, oh, this concept doesn't work or this isn't going to fly. And my favorite... I shouldn't say my favorite saying, but my most used saying is we never say no. Like as in I never say no. My team are probably trying to correct me by saying we always say yes to the right opportunity.
Yes. Yeah,
and I think that also comes back to, because I always say yes, I recognize in myself that I probably do 1,000 things at 99% and I should do 100 at 110% or even 10 at 1,000%. So that philosophy, I think, still pays dividends, but probably is a great precursor to a burnout. So I'm trying to...
it happens. Yeah, it happens.
It can happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, just trying to reshape my focus to make sure that we are saying yes to the right things.
I think it's also important over time, because how many staff do you have at the Meat Club now?
So we have 4, including me, full time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the way that we've managed to keep it so small is because we use experts in their field to run all the other kind of parts of our business, be it accounting, third-party logistics, warehousing,
knowing when to outsource
sea freight. Exactly.
Important.
Yeah, because we're never going to be able to be a jack of all trades.
No.
So I'm never going to be a website developer.
No.
Or stay on top of the algorithms for Google and Meta. So I'm better off using somebody that can look at that every day for us.
No. It's, I 100% agree. Like learning when to outsource is actually one of the biggest skills in business, 100%. Actually. And you always, especially at the beginning, you try and do everything yourself, and then you also learn really quickly what you're good at and what you're not good at. Yeah.
And I like to always enter a conversation thinking I'm the dumbest person in the room, because very often or not, that is the case. And someone else has got a skill set that you are completely unaware of. Yeah. And acknowledging that you don't know everything, I think, is a really good way to break open some of the core relationships and communication styles with other third parties.
100%. And I think the biggest thing is you come in as the business owner and the person that's setting the strategy and has the vision for what you want it to look like. So sometimes your role in those meetings is not to be telling them how to do it, but to be telling them this is why we're doing it. This is as a business where we want to be, this is where we want to get to. I don't know exactly how. We can do that, but hopefully you can come up with some ideas for that to happen.
Surrounding yourself with the smart people is the way to do it.
Yes, just to make you look good. What's been, I guess, going back into, I guess, what I just talked about with growth as you as an individual, as the businesses have grown and you've been really tested, what have you found has been like your growth trajectory? Like what would you say has been... How have you matured as a business owner and a leader? And like for me, as an example, right? So, when I first started the business, managing people and being a leader and talking to them about visions and strategy, and it was something that was very, very difficult for me and very awkward and just not a comfortable place for me. But I've had to learn as I go and it's for me, it's been the biggest journey is developing into a leader who's someone that can bring people on a journey and know that this is where we're going as a business. It's been my biggest challenge, but also the biggest reward over time. And just realizing what I am good at and what I'm not good at. So I guess trying to get a similar
I think
outlook
for me, I've actually learned so much from Josh. This is going to sound so cliche now, but I think he's always had the foresight to have mentors in his life.
Yes.
That was not something that I kind of looked for earlier on. But as a result of him kind of really hunting down mentors and sticking with them, he is always self-educating himself. He's always looking at the way to be a better leader. And I very much look up to him in terms of his leadership skills with his team, dealing with still a small but robust headquarters and a fleet of, part and full-time employees with 23 odd outlets. I still think I'm on that journey because every other week we will sit down and have we call it the fireside. So every Thursday somebody in our team has to propose a question that is not work related. And it really is a great way to just learn different personality hacks of your team members, understand what's going on in their lives. We have an office, but it's not always the case that we're in there together.
These days,
We've had a remote resource in the Philippines as well, so that makes it harder for her to communicate with us as well. I mean, obviously, we communicate with each other, but it's not that face-to-face. How are you going? What are you up to? You don't get the benefit of, grabbing a coffee together or going for a walk to the pantry and getting a snack. I would like to... As much as I would like to sit here and say, I've learnt everything and I'm the best leader there is, I have to be honest and say I still have a lot.
It just changes also over time, right?
A long way to go. Yeah.
How you need to lead in 1 year is very different to the next year, especially you've got 3 now. If you get 6, if you get 9, if you get 15, it has to change it. You've got to also grow as that kind of grows as well. So it's not a static skill. That's what I've learned as well. So I want to talk a little bit about community. So I think you have such a community-based business because meat, barbecues, Australians, it's just what everyone loves. So what's it been like for you building a business like that and just having a really strong community around to help do it?
Thank you. I think I really pride ourselves on the relationships we've built with other businesses. So going back 10 years, the only option to really spread the word out with an online business was partnering with media platforms for a budget of which we didn't have. So I had to really re-engineer the wheel and think, well, what can I do to cut through the marketing noise and get a direct referral from somebody that knows us. So one tactic that we have used in the past, and it was very often in the earlier years when I was still walking with the kids in a stroller, is I'd do fly running around the suburbs that we lived in. And I still to this day recognise a lot of the streets that I would have dropped flyers into. So that was an early strategy. And I think the second one, which was really, really hard to push 10 years ago, much easier now, I'm happy to say, because I think everyone has recognised the importance of collaborating with other businesses.
Definitely.
Whether or not it's your local...
It's the lifeblood of small business in Singapore, honestly. I mean, it's probably the lifeblood in a lot of places, but we have a very specific community of people here that we all support and look after, right? So,
and I'd rather get a direct referral, from yourself than I would, add money to to Meta and
it's also a very competitive landscape, right? Because food is actually like if you want to do anything on Google or Meta, it's expensive.
It's changing all the time.
And it's changing all the time. Yes.
AI.
It's the bane of my life.
It's all changing. So I think between when we started and now, I've always been driving collaborations and partnerships with, be it an individual, a small business owner, all the way up into the corporates of this world, to just get our brand name out there. And while that was really hard, I think it's really paid dividends because people know us through those connections now.
Definitely.
And happily, when I have those conversations with old and or new partners now, everyone's on board for it because I think as Australians, we're very accustomed to collaborating, and that's something that is, you know, commonplace now. I don't think it was back then.
No.
So I was really trying to push it, and yeah, really glad to see that it's coming to fruition.
I think the longer, because I've had my business for about 7.5 years, and you just, you know, we all know it, you know, we've lived here a long time. It is a community here, right? It is all... Even when I want to know something, I just ask my friends, like, do you have a recommendation for this? Or do you know anyone that does this? Or, which is, you know, it's actually an amazing thing to have here, because it's a much more robust thing than we can sometimes get back home as well, because we all live in this common experience, these and there's WhatsApp groups and
these communities, you know. I think it's, we're very lucky to have that support. I also have to say that I probably got a bit complacent during COVID. By just not going out to events, not doing much in terms of physical, you know, face-to-face meetings and everything else. And
kids were a bit younger though as well, though.
They were, but we were probably spending a lot more money than we should have on advertising.
Yes,
and I've stopped it now because I just think, you know, I would rather have an opportunity to go to an event and have a touch point with people than I would to try and chase them around the internet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, it's just getting harder and harder now, so, and more expensive. Maybe some like personal reflections now. So I guess, what's been the biggest gift of your time in Singapore?
Oh, biggest gift of my time. Wow. I would say a lot. Personally or business?
You can do both.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't have rules here. So.
Okay. Well, again, it's probably going to be cliche, but I'd say my daughters.
Yeah, of course.
That goes without saying. Business-wise, I think I have learnt so much on the journey with the Meat Club. There was, you know, a couple of years ago where we almost faced a moment of foreclosure. There was an incident with... an incident that I won't go into, but there was a day where I went to the office and did a fire sale on the basis that we were moving warehouse. The fact of the matter was we were actually, we had money taken from our account and we had no cash at bank.
Oh, wow.
And in that moment, it was like, well, it's either now or never. Like, if we don't get ourselves out of this, what are we going to do? And I think it was such a good gift in a way, because it made me realize that we have a level of perseverance that I probably wouldn't have found.
No.
And I think to tie it back into my childhood, it was that kind of sporting kind of background, and also seeing my sister persevere through her Olympic career.
Yes.
Where I was like, no, I'm not going to give up. So very grateful that we made it through.
Yeah. Still here.
Still here.
I kind of, if you were looking at yourself now versus your 2013 self, what would be the thing that you would say to them?
Keep going.
Yeah,
just keep going. I think, there's so many opportunities to stop and give up. Thankfully, that never happened with us. And I think just letting myself know that things were going to get easier. I remember one afternoon, I think I was calling my mum at the time, just saying, like, this is just so hard. If I was catching up with a friend and we were going out for breakfast, I would very often have my own packed snacks because I couldn't afford to buy eggs or like a banana bread. And Mum, she comes from Dutch heritage, and my grandparents went through the Second World War, so very stoic. And
half my family's Dutch as well.
Oh,
so,
there you go. But I think with that, you grow up with a mentality of like, it's not all that bad.
No.
You will get through this, and that was very much her message as well. As like, you've got it, Amy. And, be it my parents or my partner in Josh, we've never stopped to think, woe is me. It's like, no, this is what we're doing, so let's just crack on.
Which actually, you're thinking about the different layers to it, because we can all get very wrapped up in kind of the expat life, the expat appearance. Here, the appearance of success and can be very easy to judge yourself or get down on yourself or feel like, it's like an extra level of like feeling like you're not succeeding in that situation, right? So it's actually a big credit that you still were just like, you know what, it's my life right now, right? But it will pay off in the end.
Yeah.
So
I had a conversation with the girls over dinner the other night, and they were talking about the meat club like it was their business as well. And I was like, I was
going to ask how they saw it, like, or even just see both you and Daddy and the businesses and
I mean, they've seen it all, because obviously with lockdowns during COVID, that was a very difficult time, and the girls saw all the good and the bad through that period. So they're very accustomed to seeing us work together. Work through problems, celebrate the highs, and and grind through the lows.
How old are they now?
7 and 9.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. December babies, so I can't believe we'll have a 10-year-old this year. It's crazy.
It goes by very, very quickly.
Does. Very fast.
I think what do you think is next for you and the Meat Club? We're at 10 years now, so where do you want it to be in the next 10 years?
Oh, I love that question. So we recently got a dog.
Yeah, okay.
Little Coco.
Beautiful.
So she's 6 months old.
Oh.
Thank you. And I'm aghast actually by the kind of product labeling that goes on with pet food. So our philosophy with food at home, and something that I've had from the benefit of a kid in Australia, is just a whole food diet. Looking at food as an ingredient that can fuel your body as opposed to potentially damaging it.
Yes.
And so it sounds really silly, but I'm a pack flipper. I'll always, if there's a packet in front of me, I'll always look at the ingredients.
Yes.
Not less so on the nutritional table, but I'm always keen to see what's in it. And like with the food that I put in my body, I'm just doing the same for our dog. And these treats that have, a list of ingredients this long is really...
You have no idea what they are.
No. It really upsets me. So in the next 10 years, I would like to say that we have built our own range of pet food and treats.
Okay.
I'm also looking to expand the protein space, so into collagen powders, bars. Where else are we looking at? Supplements to a certain extent.
You ever want testers? I'm right here. So.
Oh, thank you. But I think we will also look at doing pre-marinated meat, maybe looking at heat and eat option, so something that is already pre-prepared so that you can have it. Obviously we have the benefit of hawker food here, which is fantastic, but I still think there's a place for good quality ready-made meals.
Yes.
But definitely staying with our lane when it comes to protein and just owning that. So be it the marinated, the heat and eat, the pet food, the kind of like protein collagen supplements and powders, and building that out.
Definitely. I think it'll keep you busy for the next 10 years.
Hope so.
That's for sure. I guess to close on a couple of fun questions. So obviously you guys have Guzman y Gomez, which is my go-to comfort meal at home. But what are you guys, are you just sitting at home eating Guzman all day, or are you sick of it by now?
No. Oh my gosh. No, I'm such a fan. And I have to say, when we were living in Australia, I never consumed it. I actually had this whole idea about it. I love their campaign, fast food that's good for you, because it's very much fast food, but it is very much good for you.
Even like my PT is always like, if you're going to cheat, then Guzman is the best
100%.
way to go.
And it wasn't until I was working in the outlets myself that I was like, oh, this is like made fresh every day, and it is real ingredients. So no, every Sunday we're having Guzman y Gomez without failure. I'm a bit of a creature of habit in terms of going out. Like, I don't chase the new restaurant openings. I like to go somewhere that I know. So if we do go out, we're not super adventurous. But otherwise cook a lot at home. And I try and get the kids in the kitchen as well, because I benefited from all that like knife cutting skills as a kid, and just not being afraid of food. It's an important
skill that
100%.
A lot of kids maybe aren't getting here as well, right? So
it is. And as I said earlier, like, we have the benefit of a helper, and I love her to bits. I'm so grateful for what they offer us. at the same time, I'm often saying, no, don't do that.
Yep.
Please don't do that. Like, they need to do it. So, you know, that's a first world problem. But yeah, I love having the kids in the kitchen.
Yes, I'm sure they love it too.
Yeah.
What's your, like, do you have a hidden gem or a favourite neighbourhood or place that you like to be in Singapore?
Being just around here in Tionguru,
Yes.
I haven't been here for years. I'm so excited by the renovations that are going on next door. You can probably hear the hum.
Hopefully it's
Sorry
not too
about
bad.
that. No, I think we try and get as outdoorsy as we can. I've always, I tend to move every day. So having the girls do that as well is really important to me. So I wouldn't say we have any hidden gems. I'm a bit boring like that.
It's fine. I'm a creature of habit as well. I'm like,
you wouldn't already know. Like, I can't go past a chop suey dinner. I just love that Asian infusion, and I love the black and white building.
Yes.
That sounds so boring, but they're a staple and they've survived, which is
a testament here.
It is. Yeah.
What would be one thing that you would tell a new expat coming to Singapore?
Oh, never say no.
Yep.
Yeah, because I think just taking away that from a business perspective, you really have to embrace the expat community because it's there for being embraced.
Yes.
They will embrace you if you embrace them. And I think we were so lucky having moved from Sydney. We actually knew no Sydney-siders.
Yeah.
And we were introduced to a lovely couple that, thank you, Vanessa and Pete. We stayed on their couch for 3 weeks when we first moved here.
Yeah, okay.
She was pregnant. They paid our lease deposit because we couldn't at the time.
Amazing.
And, that says so much about a couple that had literally only just met us.
Yes.
And they took us under their wing, and if it weren't for their introductions to their network, which were all Sydney-siders, we would not be in the place that we are today. And so when you got invited to an event or a dinner or a brunch, which Singapore is pretty famous for, it was always, you're all in. Yeah. You're all in.
Well, you guys were all in by the sounds of it. I feel like you and Josh need to write a book for that first 7 years, or maybe just we'll do a podcast just on the 7 years. And it sounds crazy.
Surviving.
Yeah. But it's like I keep saying, surviving, but you're thriving now. But it's the biggest lesson that people need to know is if you want to be successful, it's a lot of hard work. Sometimes, right? And it's not very glamorous sometimes, and it can really, really test you. But if you do it, it will get better. There's an
upside.
Yes.
Totally.
Amy, thank you for today. It's been such a pleasure having you, and I love your business. I love your stories.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.